FM. Kaieteur Radio. This is the news on top of the hour.
Live from our studio in Georgetown.
Kaieteur Radio, 99.1 FM.
Good evening. Welcome to this evening's newscast on Kaieteur Radio. I am Kevin Smith. Let's get to the news in detail. When the Liza Phase 1 project in the Stabroek Block comes to an end in the next 20 years, Exxon's subsidiary, Esso, would be responsible for executing and decommissioning or abandonment plan. Such a plan would entail costs associated with the safe removal of pipelines and other infrastructure that were fixed to the ocean floor to extract the oil. This exercise often calls for millions of US dollars to be invested. What is interesting to note, however, is that ExxonMobil does not have to wait until the next 20 years to start recovering this money. It can do and has most likely been doing this since production kicked in the Stabroek Block in December of 2019. Highlighting this quote-unquote abnormality recently was the Center for International Environmental Law. In its report, it pointed to Exxon's overview of its operations in Guyana, which shows that it may drill as many as 92 wells in the Liza 1, 2, and Payara oil fields alone. In other news, after being on the run for about a year since escaping from the Lusignan prison, Kenral Perez of Mabaruma was on Saturday night captured in a makeshift camp in a village located on the Linden-Soestdijk Highway. Police sources close to the investigations informed us that, acting on information received, ranks and members of the Circuitville Community Policing Group went into the community of Long Creek, where the murder accused was apprehended. And moving on, alleged Ponzi scheme operator Yuri Garcia Dominguez has stated that its agents have collected millions to repay his company's investors but are now withholding their monies. As a result of this, Garcia Dominguez has advised the investors to report the matter to the Guyana Police Force. Crime Chief Wendell Blanham said that several of the company's investors have since lodged reports with the GPF against the agents and investigations have begun. According to information received, the agents collected a commission for every investor they recruited to invest with Garcia Dominguez's company, Accelerated Capital Firm. The agents allegedly collected some $900 million from ACF to pay back its investors, but to date, no money has been repaid. And moving on, a CCTV footage of which surfaced yesterday has revealed that the two pastors robbed on Wednesday last were trailed first. The pastors, a 36-year-old female and a 33-year-old male, were robbed around 14 hours 45 while entering Nerva's supermarket located on Sheriff and John Streets, Campbellville. The footage showed that they were traveling in a brown Hilux pickup and were trailed by two men on a black XR motorcycle along Craig Street. The pillion rider was dressed in an orange-colored shirt and a pair of dark-colored jeans, while the rider was seen wearing a blue tie-dye jersey and a face mask. And now let's tell you, two friends are now dead and another critical after the car they were traveling in crashed into two utility poles on the Timeri Public Road. The dead men have been identified as 24-year-old Pastel Dainty and 32-year-old Dallon Whitehead. The other passenger, who remains in a critical state, was identified as Michael Kendall. It is understood that Dainty was the driver of a motor car, a blue new model Toyota Premio, while Whitehead and Kendall were passengers at the same time of the accident. It is understood also that the men had just left a barbecue in Timeri when the tragic accident occurred. And to wrap things up this evening, let's tell you a toddler died on Saturday, sometime after 13 hours, after he reportedly drank gasoline. Police have identified the toddler as Ken Jacobs and reported that he ingested the gasoline at a mining camp located at High Maraka Bakdam, Middle Mazaruni in Region 7. His mother said that she left him unattended for a brief moment to clean up around her camp. When she returned to where he was, she reportedly observed the 2-year-old vomiting what appeared to be blood. The woman picked him up and began investigating. Jacob's mom soon realized that he had drunk some gasoline, which she had stored in a bottle inside of the camp. And with that, we've come to the end of this evening's newscast. I'm Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening. Coming up at exactly 19 hours 20 is The Glenn Lyle Show. Tell it as it is. Do stay tuned.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands. Advertise today and watch your dollar grow. Call us on 225-8465 or 226-8210 today.
It is now 19:06. Coming up next is a short presentation from the publisher of the Kaieteur News on the oil and gas sector in Guyana, Dr. Glenn Lal.
Guyana giving